case h1, h2, h3. So now what they did is that instead of giving us directly the values, for h1, h2, and h3, they are giving us the difference between them. So in this case, once you have an equation like this, don't forget what I told you. The first thing generated is your observation equation. So h1, h2, h3. So what are we looking for here? We want to extract. Look at this equation now. In this first equation, do we have h1? Yes. What's the coefficient? -1. Do we have h2? Yes. What's the coefficient? 1. Do we have h3? No. Second equation, do we have h1? We have it. Coefficient is -1. Second equation, we don't have h2 in the second equation 2, but we have h3. Coefficient is 1. The third one, we don't have h1, which is 0. We have coefficient of 2 minus h1, and for h2 rather. Then h3, we have 1. So then finally for the third equation, we have all of them. So you see now, this is our A matrix. This is the A matrix for that equation. So if this is the A matrix for the equation, don't forget we need to generate all. So our L matrix now, which is the result, will be 1.2. The 1.2 will be minus 0.2, minus 1.4, and 300.6. So this will be the equation. So look at it. That's how we got all this. And don't forget, the general equation in this case is always ax plus b equals to L. Ax plus b equals to L. So look at it now. That's what we want to do here now. Ax plus b equals to L. So we want to generate the observation equation, which is A transpose A. Now look at this case now. Our A transpose in this case will be this. We're turning all this row, we're turning it to column. That is, instead of line straight, we have -1, 1, and 0. This one too, we have -1, 0, and 1. This one too, we have 0, -1, 1. Then this one too, we have 1, 1, 1. So this is the A transpose matrix. You understand? So, and don't forget, for every equation, the first thing we need to do is to compute our A transpose A. That is, you carry this A transpose now, multiply it. Don't forget, the reason why we are not adding weight in this equation is because we are not given weight. So we assume it is 1. So if not, it would have been A transpose weight A. That's what it would have become. So, but because there's no weight, just do it directly. A transpose multiplied by A. This is how to multiply it. I'm sure you are familiar with matrix. If not, you can refer to a video on how to multiply matrix. So then the same thing here, we'll do A transpose L. That is, we are multiplying this and this together, and this is what we get. So we come back to our equation. A transpose A inverse A transpose L. So that means we'll find the inverse of this particular matrix. This matrix will find the inverse. Once we find the inverse, and this is a shortcut to the inverse. You might need to refer to a video on inverse of a matrix to also understand this very well. So once we find the inverse, that means we have done this first part. So we can now carry the answer of that first part and multiply by the answer of A transpose L, which is this. So that's why you see that they carried the answer of this inverse and it was multiplied with the answer of the L. So multiplying it, we get our individual x. So this is the first x, this is the second x, and this is the third x. You will notice that now it's getting more refined compared to the first one. So this is the adjusted heights for those three. Now let us look at a question that now gives weight. A question that gives weight. So that means in this question now, we are not going to overlook the weight, or we'll not say it's just 1. We're not really overlooking it, but we are saying it is 1. So when we say it is 1, 1 multiplied by anything, I will always be that number. That's why we're not. But in this case now, more consideration will be given to the weight. So let's do it together, because one of the first things you must know how to do is how to extract out your data. So now in this case, let's look at it together. A surveyor measures the height between 3 points. So those 3 points are given to us, and we are to do a kind of adjustment on it. Now, for every equation, don't forget there's always a matrix. So since we have 3 points, we just say H1, H2, H3. So let's do it now. First equation, we have H1, the coefficient is -1. Second equation, that first equation, we have H1, H2, 1, no H3, so we'll put 0. Equation 2, we have H1, which is -1. We have no H2, we have H3, which is 1. Third equation, we don't have H1, so we'll put 0. We have H2, which is -1, because it has minus sign in front. And we have H3, which is 1. Then finally, we have H1, H2, H3. So very quickly, you can do your A transpose now. How do you do your A transpose? Turn rows to column. That is, this one now will now become straight instead of standing. So turn rows to column. This one also will become this. Then turn rows to column. This one will become this. Then this one will become this. So this is what we have here. So once you have this now, you can do your L, which is the result. And our result is 1.2 minus 0.2 minus 1.4 and 300.6. So that's the case. Now we have weights. In this case, our weight will be diagonal. Don't forget, we have 3 observations, or in this case we have 4. So every other thing will be 0, but since the first one is for the first observation, we are going to be having 3. Every other equation is 0. Second one is for second observation, we have 2. Equation is 0. Third one is 4. We have 4. Every other thing is 0, and the last one 1. So once you have this already, you are good to go. All you just need now, you see, that's what we have here. All you need to do now is to start multiplying. So you see now, the first thing you need to do is your A transpose with A. That's it. So you see these 3 matrices now, we're multiplying them together. So after you've done that, you get a particular value. Then you do your A transpose with L also. So this is our A transpose, this is our weight, and this is our L. So we'll get a particular value too. So don't forget that we're going to find the inverse. So we're going to find the inverse. The inverse of A transpose, this matrix here, this one you have here, the inverse, this is the inverse that we get for it. You need to learn how to do inverse. So you can find the video on that. And also the answer to this A transpose with L, this 2974, you see now this 2974. So the product of these two will give us our actual value. So we are multiplying this and this. So you see now the actual value for X is this. So that means the final and the adjusted value will be this. Thank you.